In today's video we compare two new LTE phones from Straight Talk. First we have the ZTE Rapido LTE. What's noteworthy about this particular phone is the fact that this is, I think, is the first Verizon LTE phone offered by Straight Talk. Next we have the Alcatel One Touch Popstar LTE, another LTE device from Straight Talk, another new one that is. And this one is for AT&T coverage. So in case you're looking at these two phones and considering what the difference is between these two phones, the main difference here is going to be the fact that one works with Verizon while the other one will work with AT&T. And as you can see, the maps are a clear indicator of that. The red map will be the Verizon and the blue one is the AT&T. Now aside from that, there's not a huge price difference between these two devices. The Popstar here on the left retails for $149.99, I believe, while the ZTE Rapido here on the right retails for $179.99. Now you might say, well, I'll just go for the cheaper one, but I will mention two features that I think make the Rapido a much better phone. Now again, keep in mind that if you don't have Verizon, then you don't really have much of a choice here. But if you have the choice between Verizon and AT&T and all things are equal, that is in coverage, then I would highly go with the Rapido for two simple reasons. Reason number one, the Rapido has a larger 4.5-inch screen and it has a Gorilla Glass screen. And then reason number two is the fact that it comes with a much better camera at 8 megapixels. Now another thing that I like about the Rapido that I don't, not that I dislike the Popstar, because the Popstar is a fine little phone for the price. It is cheaper. But the one thing that I like about the Rapido is that the design, I find it just to be a little bit more sophisticated. You got this black chrome looking trim going on the other phone, so the phone looks really nice. You got the same 3-button layout on both of these phones. But on the Popstar you don't have any bezel whatsoever, so you don't have any sort of design feature. What you do have is kind of a one-piece battery cover that kind of covers the back, not only the back but the side of the phone. So when you remove this battery cover, the power button and the volume button goes along with it. So there's not much of a design feature, as you can see on the Popstar. Another thing to note is the fact that the Rapido on the right here has a larger 4.5-inch screen. And as far as the dimension goes on the phones, that's not much of a difference. But I think you can tell that the 4.5-inch screen here on the Rapido is a little bit brighter. And I don't know if you can, to me it looks like it's just a little bit crisper. So when you play a video, and hopefully I can get them to play side by side here. When you play a video, there is a noticeable difference in quality between these two phones. I find that the video quality on the Rapido is much nicer than it is on the sorry about that, than it is on a Popstar. And this video is hard to tell with, but that is one thing that I did notice between these two phones, and that's that I found the Rapido to just be a little bit better at multimedia than the Popstar. And then next, that kind of brings me to the sound quality. The Rapido just sounds a little bit better. It actually sounds a lot better. It's not that it's louder or anything, it's just that it doesn't have that tin can sound to it. While the One Touch here, the Popstar, just has a bit of a tin can sound to it, which I'm not crazy about. And then lastly, I think the last thing to note on these two phones is the digital camera. Not only does the Rapido have a better camera, it also has a lot better features, and the camera is just more responsive. As you can see, probably didn't show up too well in the video, but the Popstar doesn't have some of the features that I'll show you on the Rapido. Not only that, but the camera's just not as sharp, and it's just not as responsive. It took me a few taps, for example, to get this thing to work, and it just doesn't have the same features that I'll show you on the Rapido. Now on the Rapido, the camera is actually 8 megapixels, so you'll get superior pictures, and you also get a few cool things that you don't get on the other phone. So for example, I can tell you just by looking at the screen that it looks a lot nicer on the Rapido, which doesn't necessarily mean the pictures are better, but that just goes to tell you that the screen quality is just a little bit better on the Rapido. But the one cool thing that I like about this phone is the fact that you get these filters which aren't available on the other phone. So for example, if you wanted to do this neon, which I think is neat, you turn that filter on, and then you get, this picture here. And say you wanted to do an emboss, you would just switch to that, and then you get something like that. So you have these cool filters, and there's a sketch filter in here too, which is also kind of cool, as you see. So you don't get those filters on the other phone. And whether you can upgrade the camera by downloading something, I have no idea, but that comes like that out of the box on the Rapido, which it doesn't on the Popstar. So I think that about concludes the two differences between the two phones. All things being equal, as I said earlier, if you have the same Verizon coverage as you do AT&T, then the Rapido is a hands-down winner. It's $30 more, but you get a lot more. In fact, the Rapido is probably my choice of LTE phone out of the new batch that they've turned out. Out of the 3 or 4 that they have right now, I would say the Rapido is my favorite because it looks nice. It's got some great features. It's got the Gorilla Glass, and the price is still good at $179.99.